Welcome to the sixth episode of MedLife Mic Talk. We are your hosts, Alec and Alex, and we are discussing another loss, 22 to 9 to the Kansas City Chiefs, prime time, Sunday night football, another loss, another terrible loss, a game that we should have won. I feel like we
A
say that a
must
lot.
must have win,
Yeah,
by the way.
must have win is for sure. Um, Sunday night was pretty deflating. You were there. So I'd love to get, your perspective, from being there, from the crowd, just even maybe even how everybody was before the game, you know, and just I know a lot of people left during the game and we heard that we want Dart chants to the booze. Um, so if you could start, how were the fans, when you were walking up to the stadium? Was everybody hyped? Were they nervous? Like, what were you expecting here?
So obviously it was the first home opening game at MetLife. Everyone was hyped, you know, tailgating, everyone, coming in with like, oh, let's get this win. The energy was high, energy was good. Obviously, you can be nervous all you want. I was nervous because, it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
They're good team. They built a good organization around with all their players and staff and all that stuff. I can go on. As much as I hate them and goddamn Kermit the Frog, uh, and then I can also tell like how many fake Chief fans were there for Taylor Swift. Sorry for any Swifties out there, but I was looking for Sierra. Um, nah, so the energy was high. Me and Lauren, my fiance, were at the Giants like tailgating, like right in front of the stadium. Energy was high. Won some free prizes and stuff like that. Went
Awesome.
inside the stadium. Took some pictures. She had some good pictures, videos, and stuff like that. They did the wrist thing with the glowing.
Yep.
Kind of lit up the stadium. Giants came out. Everyone was hyped. Everyone was like, "Let's go. Let's get those. Let's play, boys. Let's get this." Overall, it was pretty good until they started losing like usual, and you can just feel the energy went from a big high to a just terrible low. I left around the fourth quarter with maybe 4 minutes left. Usually, I leave before that, but I was kind of given some hope, but they failed me.
Yeah.
So, besides that, it was fun to be there, but then, you know, I was just expecting a little bit better from them, but same result, different day.
Yeah, that's about the mentality that, this Giants have carried. It's just same result, different week, different Sunday, even it's of a Monday or Thursday. They just can't win on prime time either.
Yeah,
I get excited for prime time and for prime time games in general, not even just related with the Giants. And man, the Giants know how to burst that bubble real quick. They have not shown up, at all really for the fans, especially at home. They have one of the worst home records since 2017. And unfortunately, I was season ticket holders throughout those first 4 years after that, and it was rough. I was at a lot of those games, losing seasons, a lot of 0-2s, 0-3 starting, seasons over by October, Halloween again. And it kind of looks like that way yet again. Playoffs are definitely out of the books here. Only five teams have made the playoffs, being 0-3, and I definitely don't see the Giants being the sixth team. So we can only really go up from here, I guess, in regards of Dart eventually. But we'll talk about that later on. But I want to talk about Brian Dable and Joe Shane a little bit. Um, their overall record after Sunday night's loss, they're 9-28. 9 wins in 4 seasons and 28 losses, and a 2022 playoff appearance. So that's pretty pathetic and pretty sad. And this is what goes on my rant, from the first loss video in regards of there's a lot of issues with this organization. This organization only knows losing. and it goes from the top down of just the way they have built this team to the way they coach this team. It is, you're telling the offensive coaching play calls are horrific. They're very stagnant and the offense doesn't move the ball. Everything just seems so hard. It doesn't even seem
Predictable too.
predictable, just so hard though. It just makes it seem like they're working 10 times harder than they should and getting nowhere with it. And then when we get to the red zone, the emergency brake just comes on and nothing happens. It just looks so much worse than we would ever expect. We had a couple years ago, we had the what, three QB sneaks with Joe Judge in a row in the game, which was his demise and ended up getting him fired the following week. Now you could add Russell Wilson throwing it to the stands 4 plays in a row. First down, second down, third down, fourth down. The second down was an intentional grounding because he threw it in the tunnel. I don't know what that was. I still have watched it to this, like still today, and I'm still confused of what happened throughout that. And I was so numb watching it, like on TV, that
Mhm.
like it didn't even bother me because I'm so,
Imagine watching it live.
yeah, no, I wouldn't because I'd probably lose my mind.
That's how I was at the stadium, losing my mind, cursing my head off. Which, by the way, I also have to chill on my curse words. Screw you, YouTube. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like what when we get to the red zone, like what are we doing? Like have some have some good plays. Have some trick plays. I was watching the Lions game yesterday. They had this one pass with the or one play with Jameer Gibbs. I forgot who Jared Goff gave it to. He did a little flea flicker like Jameer Gibbs, easy run in.
Yep.
Like something, like come up with something to bring a spark. Like, tricked out defense. Don't now. I'm not saying bring in a freaking offensive lineman in
Yeah.
like week one,
Yeah.
but we need like some different play calling. It's getting ridiculous with the whole not being able to score in red zone. You
Yeah.
know,
Malik Neighbors, you have, one of the best receivers in the league. I still, I said the last episode that I still believe that he's a top three receiver in the league. There's no excuse not to get him involved. Why all of a sudden we have receivers like Darius Slayton? He's not a bum. And then you have Wan'Dale Robinson, and then you have Malik Neighbors, who's obviously a stud. All three of those are solid receivers, especially Malik obviously being a stud and a star. But Wandale has proven that he's, you know, approved the last 2 years. And then Darius Slayton has been very consistent with the Giants. Yes, he has some dropping issues throughout the years, but he's been very consistent with the Giants. And he is able to run a lot of routes, which is why he's a captain one on the team, but he's also the receiver two on the team. Why is these guys not getting involved more? And you're going to throw a ball in triple coverage to Wando Robinson, the shortest receiver on the team. Again, love the kid, but it was not even his fault. But Russell Wilson, man, like, where are you deciding to throw there? It made no sense. It's either he throws down to the flat or he just deep ball, and that was it for the game. And you're telling me that can't be the only plays that you have drawn up. You can't. You can't just throw it to the running back and then Hail Mary deep ball every time. Like, you got to throw in the middle of the field, bro. And it's going to cost you your job, which it did.
which it did. I mean, Russell Wilson went 18 for 32, 160 yards, two interceptions,
Yeah.
two ridiculous interceptions.
And that interception in the end zone at the halftime, before halftime, was inexcusable. I also, I battle with this one, with this. I want to see your opinion on this too, on that specific interception. I saw it on TV, watched it multiple times. I've seen other reporters talking about it here and there. I didn't like the effort there from Malik, even just trying to jump up and stopping that. He just like let it happen and then he just shrugged it off and walked off. He just let him catch the interception in the end zone and just shrugged it off. That was the first time I've got like that just I didn't like that from Malik. And you could tell he's annoyed and frustrated, rightfully so. but
Not getting the ball.
at least make the effort to maybe just swat the ball out of the hands. I know it was underthrown, of course, but at least try to go up there and make it look like you're gonna maybe swat the ball out. He catches it, whatever at that point. But he just let him catch it, and then he just walked off like it was just a regular Tuesday. And I'm like, bro, you just that was points that we left off the board. And talk about points that we left off the board. I can't wait to talk about this part. Graham Gano. Wow, deja vu again. Three times this has happened. A year ago, literally, this happened against the Commanders, where Gano and the Giants coaching staff was not prepared with not having a kicker on the roster, not even bringing competition for him. He's 38 years old. He's had calf injuries and quad injuries the last couple of years,
Injury.
and we didn't bring any sort of competition with him this summer. And was very lackluster with him during practice this summer, where he wasn't even kicking field goals, as Dable wants to claim that he was. But there was media and fans there, and he was not kicking because they were icing him so he wouldn't get hurt. And look where we are. Week 3, he gets hurt during a pre-warm-up. I didn't even know he got hurt until they
I didn't
announced
know he got hurt
the game.
either. I was at the game, and I think this was what the first drive that the
Yeah,
Giants had, and we were already going for it on fourth down, and I was like, why are we going for it? Like, take your three. Like, have we not learned this lesson before? Just take your goddamn three. Until someone around the stands said that Gano was hurt, and I was like, oh shit. Uh, Yeah, it's a groin injury again, and yeah, I guess that was also a killer for them. Some
yeah,
points that you can't add now because your good kicker is injured. Got to rely on a punter, but but on the other at least they signed someone to the practice squad.
yeah.
Another New Jersey native, 2020 former 2020 Pro Bowler, 31-year-old Young Ho Koo
Yep.
to the practice squad.
So he'll definitely get brought up, and Goodell will probably get put on IR. I mean, they would have saved money cutting him this offseason, which made no sense to me why they even kept him on the roster. They would have saved money cutting him, and they should have brought in a kicker. They had two seventh round picks this past draft, and that's when you could draft a kicker usually in the late, obviously one of the last rounds, and didn't address it. This is what, again, I have issues with a lot of his coaching staff. They don't like to address a lot of things, and they just have a plan and they have the headset in regards to their plan, and whatever the worst case scenario happens, it happens every single time for the Giants. And this is another example of just pure idiocy in regards of just the coaching staff to the GM from not being prepared regarding a 38-year-old kicker who has a long history of injuries. And now we were without points throughout the game. Again, we lost the game regardless without field goals or not. But we should have scored. At least should have been 3-0 in that opening drive.
Yeah, they were battling good too. They were keeping the game tight in the first half, and start blowing it from there. Um, Shit, I was gonna say something, I forgot.
I got some crazy stats regarding the red zone, regarding Russell Wilson in the red zone this in all 3 games. He's 4 for 18, 22% for completion, 16 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yeah.
So that's not winning football. Again, this team is so good at losing football games because they're a bad football team. They're a bad football team from top to bottom. And we have players that don't make plays. We sign players who are supposed to make plays that can't make plays. And then we're benching players that we're preaching over in the offseason, and then putting players that were benched out on the field because we benched another player, aka Drew Phillips, and then putting in Banks. Yes, Drew Phillips had a rough game, but to bench your confident player that you guys as an organization was confident in last year as a selling point to the media and to the fans, like, oh, no, 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 we're going to get this right. We got a great draft class last year. And they were selling Drew Phillips as that guy. And Drew Phillips, again, had a rough game. I'm not going to kick a man while he was down, but to bench the guy and then put in a former first round pick that you benched because he also cannot perform to the high level is just, again, idiocy with me. It just doesn't make sense to me in regards of killing a kid's confidence. And then guess what? They put Drew Phillips in there, and then the running back scored effortless play. Didn't even care to be out there because he was pissed. Again, this is all this organization knows is losable, and losing games. And we're going to start losing players, star players on this team, if we don't start turning the ship around or just building some sort of confidence going into the rest of the 14 games of the season. Because if it looks like any way of these first three games have looked, it's going to be a long season and a long season for the locker room to not break.
And a long season for us fans again, yet again. Right now, we're looking like a joke of an organization that I feel like at this point we don't even know what the hell we're doing, and something's just got to change.
Yeah. And, this goes back to what I said a couple episodes ago about training camp and just since Dable's been here. It's been a country club mentality since they've been here. It's not a football club. They're one of the only few organizations that get days off during practice week. You can max out up to 4 days in a row to have practice in the NFL by the rules. The Giants give their players days off, which again, cool for the players. I'm not trying to work them to death. But at the end of the day, when they are having practices, they're like, oh, we're not having padded practice today. We're only doing uppers. And then it's like one padded practice like every 2 weeks. So these players are not conditioned by the time the season starts. And then we get to week one, week two, for the last 3 years, and it's exactly what we predicted. They're not prepared, they're not conditioned, they get blown out. They look like a high school football team can go out there and beat them. They don't look like a college team go out. A college team can definitely go out there and beat them because they are so unprepared and unconditioned every single season with this coaching staff and regime that has brought all these players into this organization currently.
Oh, man.
And then on top of that, one thing I can't stand by Dable is his media talking to the media. He's very bland with his answers, doesn't give a lot, and then he just lies about injuries, which I don't like.
Gives
It,
me Ben McAdoo vibes back then when he was bland and just used to be like, we're just gonna review the tape.
yep, the same
We're just
answer.
gonna go back at the tape.
And then
Like
he
what the
started the whole, then Brian Dable, with the whole, like I said, with injuries. I started off with those, he will talk about injuries and then we'll ask about updates regarding like Andrew Thomas throughout this whole, off season. The media would ask him about questions. He's like, oh, he's good. He's making progress. And then that's that. And then we don't see him for like 2 months. And it's like, there was definitely more to that. You're saying he's making progress, but he's not practicing. So is he making progress? And then we find out there was a setback in May where he had to get surgery again. So it's like, why can't you just be straight up? Things come out eventually, and it doesn't make sense to me to constantly lie to the fans, to the media, because again, the organization is already down in the dumps. You're just making it so much worse and making it easy for all of media to make fun of the Giants organization, which they continuously do. Again, because we're the new Cleveland Browns of the NFL. It's just it's sad, it's pathetic. I just don't like everything it's just everything is so hush hush with Brian Dable and the GM and to the media and the fans. It's like, be honest with us. You don't have to tell us everything, but like if somebody's hurt, just say, yeah, he's hurt. We had a little setback. I'm unaware of the time. That's that. And then he throws out the shade after the game regarding Dart and doesn't commit to, or no, the next day after the game. So Monday morning, he doesn't commit to Russell Wilson. For the other 3 weeks, he came out immediately the day after the game and was like, yeah, Russell Wilson's our starting quarterback. Immediately. Just got it out of the way so the media can ask. He's like, yeah, we're still evaluating the tape. So that means you're putting in Dart. Like, I,
And lo and behold, Dart's the starter.
and then here we go today announced that Jaxson Dart, former number one first round pick, will be starting for the New York Giants for Sunday's game against probably the best team in the AFC, undefeated Chargers, who has star defense, star quarterback, and a great coaching team, which the Giants don't have. Um, it's desperate times, desperate measures is what I'm getting out of this from the last hurrah for Dable and Shane here.
Definitely must win this time again. I feel like we're gonna be saying this every week going forward until they get a W. But yeah, good team. Uh, I have um, Justin Herbert as my QB, my fantasy. Good pickup, but yeah, man, I'm really nervous about this game. This game can go. I mean, if they played how they played with the Chiefs and kept them to 0 points, going back and forth. If they can do that with the Chargers, and if they can somehow bring some spark into that offense now that Jackson Dart is playing, worst case scenario, it could be a tight game, but I still think we're gonna take this L.
Yeah, no, I still have them losing. But at this time going forward, and I want to have this on camera too. I don't think Dart's success, let's say Dart goes out there for the remaining 14 games, he looks good, right? Don't know what that would consist of, how many wins that would consist of, but let's just say he looks good. I don't want this to be the reason why Dable and Shane stay. I feel like they have already made their bed. Now they got to lay in it in regards of not being part of the coaching staff next year. Because again, they should have been fired last year, but John Mara didn't want to change the coach and the GM again because he didn't want to go through the changes. So I don't think John Mara likes Dable. And what I think has happened is that Joe Shane wanted to keep Dable and was like, hey, we'll get this right. Just give us one more year to get our guy, blah, blah, blah. This is what everybody has claimed. Let's see if Dable is the guru of quarterbacks. Because let me get it to let me speak to you guys about this for a second. Brian Dable is not the reason Josh Allen is good. Josh Allen is good because Josh Allen made himself good. So I'm tired of that being the reason that why we keep Dable. Dable's proven that he can't coach a team right now, and he can't call plays because again, we had so many scapegoats throughout these last couple of years, and they don't have anywhere else to run. Dart's their last hope of having themselves have a job. So if they go out and win 3 games, I still don't feel like that's keeping their job. And if Dart even goes out there and performs well, he would have to perform on prime, like best time Mahomes level
High caliber play, like
that keep their
yeah, I
jobs.
agree.
I still think the writing's on the wall and they're going to lose their jobs at the end of the season. And I don't wish for people to lose their jobs. I just feel, again, the writing's on the wall here. And this is a desperate move because what came out last week from Art Stapleton, the Giants reporter, saying that the Giants organization does not want to put Dart in this soon and that their plan is to keep him off the field to develop as long as possible while Wilson's the quarterback. But being 0-3 changes that, and the bad performance from Russell Wilson from week 1 and week 3 also changes that. And now we're making a desperate move to now throw a rookie in to save their jobs, basically, to not only add pressure just being the New York quarterback now and hyping him up to be the future. And I, God, hope he is. You and I hope he is. But to put that pressure on that kid is unfair. And I'm going to enjoy this ride. I just bought tickets for Sunday's game to go see this kid's first game. Again, I expect a loss here. But if the kid balls out, I'll be there rooting for him. I was at Eli Manning's last game. I was at Daniel Jones's first game, and now I'll be at Jaxson Dart's first game. So I want to be a part of a good side of history here. So let's please just change things around and just show some professionalism as a football team and actually perform on a Sunday and don't embarrass us fans because we are tired of it. The organization, I know, is tired of it, but as fans, for the last 13 years, are tired of what you guys are putting out on this field.
Already prepping my bag to put over my head again.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I'm undecided yet if I'm gonna go this Sunday. But man, I just hope. I wish nothing but the best of luck. Obviously, I wish nothing but the best and great success for Jackson Dart. Great kid. I freaking hope like this would be like phenomenal if he balls out this Sunday and just destroys Los Angeles. But
yeah,
you know that's like a fairy book tale right there. But hey, who knows, right?
why not us?
He may bring some spark. He he can do some plays, and remember he can run better than
Yeah.
Russ.
Yeah.
Won't be a sitting duck. All I hope is that if he runs, slide,
Yeah.
slide. God damn it.
I think Russell Wilson is going to be requesting a trade soon, definitely before the trade deadline in the next few weeks. I don't think he's going to want to stay on this team. He's going to probably try to go play elsewhere to a team that maybe needs a quarterback, maybe like the Bengals. We'll see, but I don't think he's going to sit here and be a QB2 for the Giants. And then now just, again, Russell Wilson, we have no ties with him after this year. And Jameis Winston, we have a tie until next year. So Jameis Winston will just get moved down to QB2. And Russell Wilson, I think, is going to be traded off the Giants in the next 2 to 3 weeks um, from a team and maybe get like a sixth or seventh rounder for him. We'll just eat the $10 million and call it a day, and that's that. But now this is the future. This is what we wanted to see. And now it's our time to sit back, enjoy this ride as a rookie quarterback, support him as fans. Because again, not everything's going to be perfect. He's going to have rookie bumps, but that's okay.
Yeah,
So let's go out there, be competitive. That's all we want as fans. Just be competitive and don't make a fool out of us as fans and as an organization. Because this organization has really fallen down the last 13 years. And the pride as Giants fans have really fallen down the last 13 years because of the performances that you guys are putting on national TV week after week. So let's get a win. Let's shock the world Sunday.
yeah. Do some better play calling. We know what this offense can do. We've seen it. We've seen good flashes,
Yeah.
bad flashes, obviously. But let, let's get that momentum that we had against the Cowgirls. Like, bring that. Where's that offense? Where were those plays? Where like what happened from 1 week? Just literally 1 week.
Well, the
Like,
Cowboys defense is probably the worst in the league, and the Bears proved that this week.
yeah, actually,
I
yeah.
can't really look into that game anymore as much, as we did, because the Cowboys defense and the back end are really, really, really bad. Um, but yeah, like let's just be like all I want. Let's just be competitive. But you'll have to tune in to next week's episode when we face the Los Angeles Chargers at home, 1 o'clock game. Your boys, Alec and Alex, both had them losing. But again, the excitement. We have Jaxson Dart, our possible QB1, our possible future.
Our Lord and Savior, possibly.
Yeah, our Anakin Skywalker to our Darth Vader of Abdul Carter. Tune in to next week's episode. As always, please like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate you. We love you. Let's go, New York Giants.